the father of modern art and the first great painter of the human mind. Let's start the bidding at £5 million.
Hi everybody, I just watched the 2013 movie Trance, and on the surface it's your typical British crime movie with a group of gangsters trying to steal a famous painting. But in actuality it's a very psychological movie with a lot of stuff going on beneath the surface. And it's one of those movies that you have to watch twice to understand it. So it's kind of like Fight Club or The Usual Suspects, kind of like those movies. But with Trance, everything is kind of multi-layered, kind of like Inception. You know, it's there's so many movies that are kind of similar, but only in certain aspects. But anyway, I love all those movies, and I love those kind of movies that you have to watch twice to understand. But unlike all those other movies, with Trance, the actual subplot or the actual meaning is really deep. So for a lot of people, when they have watched it once, they don't really see what is really going on. So some people even feel kind of disappointed, or some people feel that they have understood everything, but they really haven't, but they feel they have understood everything. And some even feel kind of disappointed. Some see only the movie on the surface, you know, the crime story on the surface. So they don't feel like they have to watch it twice. But this movie, you really have to watch it twice. So for those people that have watched it once and don't want to watch it again, or even for those people that have watched it multiple times but are still kind of struggling to explain everything, I want to give you my interpretation. And of course it's just my interpretation. It's like with a painting, you know, one guy looks at a painting and he has his interpretation. Another guy looks at the same painting and he has another interpretation. And it's the same with movies, because movies are also a work of art, and it's particularly like that with this movie. So of course everybody has his own interpretation. And I'm not saying that my interpretation is better than any other interpretation. And there are also many other interpretations that are also correct. I mean, there are so many different ways to look at this. But I feel that I have come up with an explanation that is, with an interpretation that is really able to explain all the different scenes. Because most of the other interpretations, they're not really able to explain every scene that we see in the movie. There's still some scenes that don't really make sense, and they just think that, oh well, the movie doesn't make sense. But I don't think that's the case. I think if you listen to the interpretation I'm gonna give you now, it can really all make sense. And that is why I like to view it from that point of view. So anyway, if you haven't watched the movie, go watch it at least once. Otherwise, I'm just gonna spoil everything for you and ruin a movie for you that is really actually a great movie. Yeah, just like Pulp Fiction, actually, the movie is also not in chronological order. So the beginning of the movie is not the beginning of the story. So now I'm gonna start at the beginning of the story and explain everything. So it starts with the protagonist, Simon, and Simon has a gambling problem that he's trying to get rid of. And so Simon seeks out a hypnotherapist and to help him get rid of his gambling problem. And it works really well, because Simon is really susceptible and really responsive to hypnosis. So it works really well, and the hypnotherapist is able to help him get rid of his gambling problem. But the hypnotherapist is also a very beautiful woman, and well, they kind of fall in love with each other, and they start a relationship. But during that relationship, the hypnotherapist realizes that, well, the gambling addiction wasn't really the only issue that Simon had. Simon also has other problems. For example, Simon gets very jealous, and not only that, but when he gets jealous, he also tends to get kind of violent. So the relationship doesn't really work out, and the hypnotherapist just wants Simon to go away and leave her alone because he is kind of abusive. But Simon still kind of loves her and wants to make up for it, wants to apologize, but she realizes that an apology isn't enough, because an apology isn't gonna change who he is, and if she lets him come back, he will probably start abusing her again. So she just wants him to go away as far as possible, but he keeps calling her, and he even keeps insisting on continuing the therapy session. So she does something very, very evil. She uses these therapy sessions to manipulate him, and puts in little suggestions in the therapy sessions to cause him to distance himself from her. And not only that, because at that point she's really angry at him, she wants to get revenge. So she really abuses the therapy sessions to manipulate him and to get her revenge. And so she really tries to mess him up, and because he used to be a gambler, and she helped him get rid of his addiction. But now she puts in suggestions to make him a gambler again, mess him up to get her revenge. And she puts in little suggestions to make him a criminal. And she does all really bad things, and puts in suggestions so that he starts stealing, because she knows that he works as an art dealer. So she puts in a suggestion for him to steal a painting. Now, the reason for this initially is not, she doesn't actually want the painting. She doesn't care for the painting. She just wants him to go away, and this is a way for him to go away, because she knows, yes, she can kind of make him forget her in the therapy session. And she puts in suggestions like that, oh, you didn't even know me, you're gonna forget me. She puts in suggestions like that so that he will forget her. But she knows that subconsciously he will still remember her. She knows that her suggestions are not permanent, and she knows that eventually he will come back because he still loves her. So subconsciously he will always come back to her. So what she does is she wants to make him steal that painting, so that he will then not be able to contact her again, because he will be in prison, or if he doesn't get arrested, then he will have to go into hiding and go into the criminal underworld. Either way, he will be very far away from her, so she will not have to deal with him again, which is exactly what she wants, and that is the reason why she manipulates him into stealing the painting. And now we're at the beginning of the movie. We see Simon, who has now forgotten her because she put that in her hypnotic suggestions, and who is now a gambler again, and who is now a petty criminal, which was also partially caused by her suggestions, and who has now the desire to steal a certain painting. And but of course her whole plan backfires on her, because he gets hit on his head, and instead of causing amnesia, it kind of, at least on a subconscious level, makes him remember her again. And of course, he thinks that he has amnesia because, of course, he can't remember where he put the painting. And so he seeks out a hypnotherapist to help him remember where he put the painting. And of course, because subconsciously he still remembers her, he picks her again. So her whole plan backfires, and the thing that she did to make him go away causes him to come back. So yeah, well, she kind of realizes her mistake and realizes that he really does love her. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to subconsciously still remember her and to come back to her. And she realizes that he does have a sweet side and he does have a good side, but he has all those dark aspects as well that he hasn't been able to get rid of. She again uses the therapy sessions to manipulate him, but this time not so as to distance himself, to make him distance himself from her, because she realizes that that's not possible, because she realizes he really still loves her. And also not to mess him up this time. And maybe she also kind of feels sorry that she did mess him up. And so this time she really tries to help him get rid of the bad aspects of his psyche. And one method that we see her using is that she has the person that is in trance create another personality and project everything onto that other personality. And we actually see her using that technique on him in the beginning. Of course, at the beginning it was to find his painting. But she probably knows where the painting is anyway, so she doesn't really care for the painting. She uses the technique to help him get rid of the bad aspects of his psyche. And of course, all the gangsters that we see in the movie, they might actually really exist. So I'm not saying all the gangsters are necessarily only aspects of his psyche, but she uses those characters to have him project certain aspects of his psyche during his hypnotherapy sessions, because we see him enter into hypnotherapy, but once he has entered into hypnotherapy, we see everything from his perspective. We see everything that he sees while being in trance. And of course the title of the movie is Trance. So a large part that we see after he entered trance is actually him being in trance. Simon is the part that she wants to get rid of. You know, it's also the part that she has him create. We actually see that in the movie. Simon is the part of him that represents all the aspects she doesn't want. You know, Simon is jealous. Simon is a thief. Simon gets easily angry. Simon sometimes even gets violent and, you know, even hurts people that want to help him. So Simon is, of course, one of the aspects of his personality that she wants to get rid of. And the other criminals, they also represent aspects of his personality that she wants to get rid of. For example, there is one criminal that is very fearful. There is one criminal that rapes her or tries to rape her, and of course those are all aspects that she wants to get rid of. So she manipulates him into killing off all those criminals, which actually represent aspects of his psyche. So in the end, there is only Simon left. But Simon is, of course, also not not the man she wants. She wants Frank, and so in the end, she kills Frank. No, she kills Simon. Sorry. In the end, she manipulates him and into killing Simon. And Simon is the part that she doesn't want. So that in the end, only Frank is left. And Frank is what she sees as the good side of him. Of course, Frank is also not perfect. Frank is still a criminal, but Frank is still him, but Frank is the part of him that is good enough for her. Frank is not perfect. Frank is maybe not good per se, but Frank is good enough for her. So she has him kill off all the other aspects of his psyche, and so that in the end only Frank is left. And then she gives Frank a choice, which she didn't give Simon. She didn't give him that choice before, because before he was still Simon. He was here. Before he was still a gambler. He was still getting jealous. He was still getting violent. So of course she wanted him to go away. But now that Simon is gone anyway, she gives him another choice, which is either go away and forget everything that has happened, or come back to her. And that's how the movie ends, with Frank choosing. And of course Frank is really an aspect of Simon. So I think if you view the movie from that perspective, watch it again from that perspective, it will all make sense. There are other interpretations, and the other interpretations make sense too, but I think only this interpretation can explain every scene in the movie. And there were some scenes, some little scenes that before kind of seemed like they didn't really make sense, but if you view it from that perspective, they will make sense. So I think this is the at least for me, that was the perspective that really explained the movie. And it is a great movie. I really, really recommend it. Of course, now I spoiled it. So I hope you did watch it before you heard my explanation.